My name is Leela Kensington, and at 15 years old, I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when the world walks away. It started on a sticky Miami morning in late June, the kind where the humidity clings to your skin like a bad secret. Our sprawling house in Coral Gables, all white marble floors, infinity pool overlooking Biscayne Bay, and a garage full of cars that cost more than most people's homes, hummed with the chaos of departure. Suitcases piled like trophies in the foyer. My mother, Elena, flitted around in her designer sundress, barking orders into her phone about VIP fast passes and the presidential suite at the Grand Floridian. "Leela, honey, you're sure you don't mind staying behind?" she asked, not really looking at me as she zipped up her Louis Vuitton weekender. Her voice had that fake sweet lilt she used when she wanted something from Victor, my stepfather, or when she was about to drop a bomb disguised as a favor. I shrugged, twirling the end of my ponytail. "It's fine, Mom. I'm 15, not exactly princess material anymore." The words tasted bitter, but I forced a smile. Disney World? I'd outgrown the mouse ears years ago, or at least that's what I'd told myself. Secretly, though, part of me had hoped for one last family trip, a chance to pretend we were still the unit we'd been before Victor and his perfect kids crashed into our lives. Victor Langford, tall, tanned, with that perpetual CEO smirk, clapped me on the shoulder as he wheeled his golf clubs past. "Smart girl, you'll have the run of the place. Order whatever you want, just don't burn it down." His laugh echoed off the high ceilings, joined by the giggles of my step-siblings, twins Ethan and Noah, 13, and already mini Victors in polo shirts, and Sophia, 17, who shot me a pitying glance from behind her oversized sunglasses. Poor Leela, her eyes seemed to say, always the odd one out. The debit card they left me was sleek, black, embossed with my name in gold. $300, Victor said, pressing it into my palm like it was a participation trophy. "Should cover pizza and whatever. We'll be back in 10 days. Text if you need more." 10 days, alone in a house built for 6? As their sleek black Escalade pulled out of the driveway, horns blaring a final bye-bye from the twins, I stood on the porch waving like the dutiful daughter I was supposed to be. The engine's rumble faded into the palm-lined street, and suddenly the silence hit me like a wave. No more Victor's booming voice dominating dinner, no Sophia's eye rolls at my basic clothes, no Mom's distracted hugs that always felt like afterthoughts. I wandered back inside, the marble cool under my bare feet. The kitchen island was a battlefield of half-eaten croissants and abandoned coffee mugs. I popped a leftover pastry into the microwave, then flopped onto the massive sectional in the living room, remote in hand. Netflix beckoned, Stranger Things reruns, maybe a horror flick to match my mood. But after 2 episodes, the quiet gnawed at me. This wasn't freedom, it was exile. By evening, the house felt too big, too empty. I raided the fridge for sushi leftovers from last night's takeout. Victor always ordered from that overpriced place on Brickell. As I scrolled through my phone, a notification pinged. Low balance alert on the debit card. Weird. I'd only bought a latte from Starbucks that afternoon. I opened the banking app, the one linked to the card. The screen loaded and my stomach dropped. Balance? $87.42. What? I'd started with $300. A quick scroll through transactions, $45 at Starbucks, fine, but then $120 to E. Kensington Personal yesterday, and $48 to some spa in South Beach the day before. My fingers froze on the screen. These weren't my spends. The card was in my name, but the history screamed otherwise. Curiosity prickled like static. I tapped deeper. This wasn't a standard checking account. The fine print at the bottom, Harper Family Trust, beneficiary, Leela Rose Harper, formerly Kensington. Harper, my mother's maiden name, my grandfather's name, Reginald Harper, the man I'd only ever met a handful of times before he died when I was 8. He'd been a self-made real estate tycoon in Chicago, the kind who built empires from nothing. Mom had always painted him as a distant, grumpy old man who didn't understand modern life. But a trust fund? In my name? I switched to my laptop, heart racing. The Wi-Fi password was still Langford Empire 2023, Victor's ego in numeric form. I logged into the full banking portal using the card details. There it was, a trust account established in 2015, the year after Grandpa died. Initial deposit, $2.5 million. Monthly contributions from a holding company in Chicago. But the outflows, God, the outflows. Transfers to Elena Kensington household dating back years. $15,000 here for renovations, $8,000 there for Leela's education that I never saw. Private school tuition covered by Victor. My allowance, a joke. This money had been siphoned like water from a leaky pipe, straight into Mom's designer life. My hands shook as I screenshotted everything. This wasn't a mistake. This was theft. But why? We weren't poor. Victor's tech firm pulled in millions. Mom's lifestyle blog was just a front for shopping sprees. I dug further, cross-referencing with public records. A quick Google for Reginald Harper Estate led me to an old probate filing from Cook County, Illinois. The will was public domain. To my granddaughter, Leela Rose Harper, the entirety of my liquid assets to be held in trust until her 21st birthday, administered solely by her mother, Elena, with full transparency required. Transparency? This was a black hole. That night, I barely slept. The AC hummed like a conspirator, and every creak in the empty house made me jump. By 3 a.m., I'd pieced together more. Emails in Mom's old Gmail, password my birthday because she was predictable, from her lawyer discussing creative accounting for the trust. Leela doesn't need to know yet. It'll be her surprise at 21. Surprise? More like a gut punch. Dawn broke over the bay, painting the water gold. I sat on the pool deck, feet dangling in the cool water, the debit card burning a hole in my pocket. $87 left. 10 days stretched ahead like a desert, but for the first time, I wasn't just surviving, I was investigating. The next few days blurred into a frenzy of discovery. I became a ghost in my own home, haunting the office where Victor kept his files. Under a stack of golf magazines, I found a manila envelope labeled Harper Trust Confidential. Inside, statements showing the account had dwindled to $1.2 million. Mom had withdrawn $1.3 million over 6 years. For what? A new yacht? Sophia's gap year in Europe? My college fund that was really Victor's slush fund? I printed everything, hiding the stack in my closet behind winter coats we never used in Miami. To stay sane, I biked to the local library, the one place that felt neutral. The librarian, Mrs. Patel, eyed me over her glasses. "Everything okay, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost." "Family stuff," I muttered, burying myself in legal tomes on trusts and fiduciary duty. Florida law was clear. Mismanagement of a minor's trust is grounds for removal of the trustee, and at 15, I could petition for emancipation if I proved neglect. Neglect tasted like metal. Mom had left me with $300 and a smile. Was that neglect, or just her version of tough love? By day 5, loneliness had morphed into resolve. I called the Chicago law firm listed in Grandpa's will, Harper and Associates, ironically. The receptionist put me through to a junior partner, a woman named Miss Rivera. "Lila Harper? Reginald's granddaughter? We've been waiting for your call." "Waiting?" My pulse thundered. "You know about the trust?" She chuckled softly. "Your grandfather was thorough. He set up alerts for any unusual activity. We've been monitoring. The withdrawals, they're not kosher." I spilled everything, the trip, the card, the siphons. She listened, then said the words that lit a fire. "We can help, but you need to be in Chicago to file, or we can start remotely. Emancipation first, then custody of the trust." Chicago, a city I'd only visited for Grandpa's funeral, a blur of black suits and casseroles, but it was a lifeline. The days dragged. I rationed the $87 like a castaway. Ramen noodles, dollar store snacks. I avoided Mom's texts. "Having fun? Miss you. XOXO. Lies." I replied with emojis, buying time. Then, day 8, the Escalade's rumble in the driveway. They were back early. "Surprise!" Mom called, arms laden with Disney swag, Mickey ears perched on her head like a crown. I met them in the foyer, the printed statements clutched behind my back. Victor kissed her cheek, the twins dumped bags everywhere. Sophia scrolled her phone, oblivious. "Mom," I said, voice steady despite the tremor in my knees. "We need to talk about Grandpa's trust." Her smile faltered, just for a second. "What trust, sweetie? Come on, show me your tan lines." I laid the papers on the kitchen island. The room went still. Victor's brow furrowed. The twins froze mid-unpacking. Elena's face drained of color. "Lila, this is private. How did you—" I checked the app, the one you linked to my card. My voice rose. "You've been stealing from me for years. That money was mine. Grandpa left it for me." Victor stepped forward, all business. "Now, hold on. Your mother was the trustee. She was managing it for the family." "Family?" I laughed, sharp and hollow. "I'm the family. Or was I just the ATM with legs?" Mom's eyes flashed. Anger, then calculation. "You don't understand, Lila. Life is expensive. The house, the cars, your school. Victor and I built this for us. The trust was a safety net. I was protecting you from squandering it." "Squandering?" I shoved the statements at her. $50,000 to a wellness retreat in Aspen? $200,000 to Sophia's art portfolio? That's not protection. That's fraud. The twins whispered. Sophia's phone clattered to the floor. Victor's jaw tightened. "This is a misunderstanding. We'll sort it." "No," I said, stepping back. "I'm sorting it. With a lawyer." The confrontation exploded like a summer storm. Mom cried. Real tears or the Oscar-worthy kind? "After everything I've done, raising you alone after your father left, this is how you repay me?" Dad had left when I was 4, a faded memory of arguments and slammed doors. But Grandpa? He'd been the steady one, sending birthday cards with $100 bills until Mom handled them. "You repaid yourself," I shot back, "with my money." Victor tried to play mediator, but I saw the fear in his eyes. The trust was in my name, not theirs. By midnight, they'd retreated to their wing of the house, doors slamming. I barricaded myself in my room, laptop open to Miss Rivera's email. "File for emancipation tomorrow. Will expedite." The next morning, I was gone before they woke. Uber to the airport, $40 from my dwindling funds. A one-way ticket to Chicago, $289, charged to the card. It declined at first, then cleared with a warning. Final balance, $12.47. O'Hare was a zoo, but I navigated it like a pro, heart pounding with a mix of terror and thrill. Miss Rivera met me at baggage claim, a no-nonsense woman in a power suit with her dark hair in a sleek bun. "Lila Harper, you look just like your grandfather in his younger days. Feisty." She drove me to a sleek downtown office overlooking the Chicago River. Over coffee and bagels, she laid it out. "Emancipation in Illinois requires proving you're mature enough to handle your affairs. The trust mismanagement? Ironclad evidence. We'll petition the court to remove your mother as trustee and appoint a neutral one. Me, if you want. But first, we need your uncle's support." "Uncle?" I blinked. "Marcus? Mom's brother?" She nodded. "He was named alternate guardian in the will. Your mother contested it, but records show he tried to stay in touch. Lives in Portland now. Bookish type. Runs the special collections at Reed College Library." Portland, another city, another world. Marcus had been a ghost in my life. Mom called him the family disappointment. Too into books, not enough into money. He'd sent me a care package once when I was 10, a stack of fantasy novels and a note that said, "For the girl who dreams big." That afternoon, in a sterile courtroom, the judge, a stern woman with reading glasses, reviewed my petition. Mom had flown in overnight, Victor in tow, their lawyers armed with briefcases. "Your Honor," Mom's attorney droned, "this is a teenage tantrum. Lila's been coddled. The trust was for her benefit." I stood, voice clear despite sweaty palms. Benefit? She left me with $300 for 10 days. No food money, no plan. And the withdrawals? They're documented. I deserve to decide my future. The judge peered over her glasses. Miss Harper, at 15, you're young, but the evidence of fiduciary breach is compelling. Temporary emancipation granted, pending full hearing. You'll stay with a court-appointed guardian until then. Guardian, Miss Rivera arranged it, a foster family in the suburbs for a week, but I had other plans. That night, from my Airbnb, paid by Miss Rivera on trust expenses, I called the number. It rang twice. Hello? A warm, gravelly voice. Marcus Harper? Uncle Marcus? It's Lila, your niece. A pause, then a soft laugh. Lila? God, it's been years, kiddo. How are you? I told him everything, the trust, the abandonment, the court. He listened without interrupting, then, your mother always had a way of rewriting history. I tried to see you after Grandpa died. She blocked me at every turn, said I was a bad influence. Can I come stay with you in Portland just until this blows over? Another pause. The guest room's been empty too long. Fly out tomorrow. I'll pick you up. The flight to Portland was a revelation. As the plane descended over the Cascade Mountains, mist clinging to the evergreens, I felt the weight lift. Chicago had been the battlefield. Portland promised peace. Marcus waited at PDX in a beat-up Subaru, wearing a flannel shirt and wire-rimmed glasses. You grew up, he said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of old books and rain. His house was a cozy craftsman in the Alberta Arts District, bookshelves floor to ceiling, a cat named Hemingway lounging on the windowsill, and the faint scent of Earl tea. It's not Miami, he admitted, showing me to the guest room, but it's home. That first week, we talked for hours. Over pancakes, his were lopsided, like a dad should be. He told me about Grandpa, how he'd built the trust after Mom's first divorce, suspecting she'd live large. He loved you, Lila, said you had his spark, the one that built empires from scraps. I showed him the statements. His face hardened. She always resented him for favoring me, the quiet one, the reader. In the evenings, he'd pull out boxes from the attic. These I kept, he said, spreading them on the coffee table. Yellowed newspaper clippings from my school paper, articles I'd written on climate change, short stories about lost girls finding their way, a faded photo of me at 8 holding a book he sent, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You saved all this? Tears stung my eyes. Every word. Your mom sent them sometimes before she cut me off. I figured one day you'd need a reminder that someone believed in you. The full hearing came 3 weeks later via Zoom from Marcus's cluttered office. Mom appeared on screen, flawless in pearls, Victor nodding supportively beside her. Your Honor, Mom's attorney droned. This is a teenage tantrum. Lila's been coddled. The trust was for her benefit. I stood, voice clear despite sweaty palms. Benefit? She left me with $300 for 10 days. No food money, no plan. And the withdrawals? They're documented. I deserve to decide my future. The judge peered over her glasses. Miss Harper, at 15, you're young, but the evidence of fiduciary breach is compelling. Temporary emancipation granted, pending full hearing. You'll stay with a court-appointed guardian until then. Guardian, Miss Rivera arranged it, a foster family in the suburbs for a week, but I had other plans. That night, from my Airbnb, paid by Miss Rivera on trust expenses, I called the number. It rang twice. Hello? A warm, gravelly voice. Marcus Harper? Uncle Marcus? It's Lila, your niece. A pause, then a soft laugh. Lila? God, it's been years, kiddo. How are you? I told him everything, the trust, the abandonment, the court. He listened without interrupting, then, your mother always had a way of rewriting history. I tried to see you after Grandpa died. She blocked me at every turn, said I was a bad influence. Can I come stay with you in Portland just until this blows over? Another pause. The guest room's been empty too long. Fly out tomorrow. I'll pick you up. The flight to Portland was a revelation. As the plane descended over the Cascade Mountains, mist clinging to the evergreens, I felt the weight lift. Chicago had been the battlefield. Portland promised peace. Marcus waited at PDX in a beat-up Subaru, wearing a flannel shirt and wire-rimmed glasses. He was taller than I remembered, with salt and pepper hair and a kind smile that crinkled his eyes. "You grew up," he said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of old books and rain. His house was a cozy craftsman in the Alberta Arts District, bookshelves floor to ceiling, a cat named Hemingway lounging on the windowsill, and the faint scent of Earl Grey tea. "It's not Miami," he admitted, showing me to the guest room, "but it's home." That first week, we talked for hours. Over pancakes, his were lopsided, like a dad's should be. He told me about Grandpa, how he'd built the trust after Mom's first divorce, suspecting she'd live large. "He loved you, Leela. Said you had his spark, the one that built empires from scraps." I showed him the statements. His face hardened. She always resented him for favoring me, the quiet one, the reader. In the evenings, he'd pull out boxes from the attic. "I kept these," he said, spreading them on the coffee table. Yellowed newspaper clippings from my school paper, articles I'd written on climate change, short stories about lost girls finding their way. A faded photo of me at 8, holding a book he'd sent, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. "You saved all this?" Tears stung my eyes. "Every word. Your mom sent them sometimes, before she cut me off. I figured one day you'd need a reminder that someone believed in you." The full hearing came 3 weeks later, via Zoom from Marcus's cluttered office. Mom appeared on screen, flawless in pearls, Victor nodding supportively beside her. "Leela's always been dramatic," she said, voice cracking. "This trust was a gift. I was investing in her future." The judge wasn't buying it. "Mrs. Kensington, the records show over 1 million in unauthorized withdrawals. Emancipation is granted. The trust is now under Leela's control, with Marcus Harper as co-trustee until she turns 18. Repayment of misappropriated funds, $1.1 million to be settled within 90 days. Mom's face crumpled. "Leela, please, we're family." I leaned into the camera. "Family doesn't steal from you, Mom. It builds you up." The call ended in silence. Victor's lawyers would fight the repayment, but Miss Rivera assured me they'll settle. Too much bad PR. Life in Portland unfolded like a new chapter. Marcus enrolled me in a local high school, smaller, artsier, full of kids who quoted poetry in the halls. I joined the newspaper, writing my first piece, "The Price of Secrets, When Family Trusts Betray." It went viral in the district. Weekends, we'd hike in Forest Park, the trees whispering secrets. Marcus taught me to brew the perfect pour-over and spot first editions at Powell's Books. "Your grandpa would be proud," he'd say, ruffling my hair. But the trust wasn't just money, it was power. With Marcus's help, we audited the remnants, $400,000 left. We invested wisely, index funds, a small real estate play in Portland. And then the idea struck. "Scholarships," I said one rainy afternoon, sketching on a napkin. "Kids like me, teens from broken homes fighting for their futures. Call it the Reginald Harper Legacy Fund. No strings, just hope." Marcus's eyes lit up. "We'll make it happen. Start small, 10 awards a year, for books, laptops, therapy, whatever they need." We launched it 6 months later at a quiet ceremony in the library's reading room. I stood at the podium, 16 now, in a simple black dress. "My grandfather left me more than money," I said, voice steady. "He left me the truth and the chance to rewrite it. This fund is for every kid who's been left behind, not to forget, but to fly." The first recipients, a girl from foster care who wanted to study journalism, a boy escaping an abusive stepdad. Their stories mirrored mine, and for the first time, the betrayal felt purposeful. Mom tried to reconcile. A card arrived on my 17th birthday. "I'm sorry, I was scared. Let's talk." I replied with a single line. "The trust is repaid. The rest, that's on you." Victor divorced her 6 months later. Turns out the repayment drained their empire. She moved to a condo in Boca Raton alone. I visited once for closure. She looked smaller, her designer life frayed at the edges. "I thought I was protecting us," she whispered over tea. "You were protecting yourself," I said gently. "But I forgive you. Not for you, for me." Back in Portland, life bloomed. I graduated valedictorian, my speech about the accounts we balance in our hearts. College at Reed, full ride thanks to the trust. Marcus walked me across the stage, Hemingway purring in his arms. Years later, at 25, I run the foundation full-time. The Reginald Harper Legacy Fund has helped over 500 kids. We have offices in Chicago, Miami, and Portland now, a bridge across the cities that shaped me. Sometimes, on quiet nights, I sit by the Willamette River, watching the lights reflect like scattered stars. The Forgotten Trust didn't just give me money, it gave me a family, the one I chose. Marcus, the kids we help, the woman I've become. Mom calls occasionally. We talk about the weather, the grandkids she'll never meet. It's civil, distant, but that's okay. Some legacies are built on what we leave behind, not what we cling to. And me? I'm the one who stayed, the one who claimed what was mine, the girl who turned a $300 debit card into a future worth millions, not in dollars, but in the lives we lift. If you've ever been left with nothing but questions, know this: the vault isn't empty. It's just waiting for you to crack it open. The end.